Ease, we're all about calculating the best high for you. Ran out of shows to watch for the second time this week? Order an indica pre-roll. Social distance park hang? Pair that awkward picnic with a vaporizer. See, we're like your weed guy, but 420% nerdier. So just worry about when you're going to take that edible and let us do the rest. Ease, highly calculated cannabis delivery. Get 30% off your first order with promo code NERD at ease.com. That's EAZE.com.
Hey, what's up? This is Matt Barnes, and I'm here to talk to you about weed. As an NBA champ and analyst, I guess you can say I'm an expert in that space. And Ease is the cannabis version of me, and they have you covered with the best delivery service in the game. Seeing the in-laws for dinner? That's a low-dose sativa gummy. Can't stand another Zoom meeting? They're sending in some top-shelf THC beverages. So what are you waiting for? Get up to 30% off your first order with promo code MATT. That's MATT at ease.com. Ease, a highly calculated cannabis delivery service.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Jeffrey Epstein Show. I'm your host, Bobbycapucci, and this is a morning update. What's up, everybody, and welcome to the program. Boy, this Bill Gates situation continues to snowball down the hill. You know, like in the cartoons, it would start as a little snowball, and then by the time it got to the end of the hill, it would be a gigantic one? Well, that is what we're witnessing here, as the brakes completely come off the train, and Bill Gates and Melinda Gates get their whole entire relationship, or, well, I should say lack thereof now, put on blast. And the story continues. Little bit comes out, a little bit more comes out, a little bit more comes out, and before you know it, you have the whole entire sordid story right in front of your face. And that's what we're seeing here. Now, Melinda Gates and Bill Gates can say, oh, well, we want this to be amicable. We don't want this to be fought in the media. We don't want there to be acid involved in this. But we see that their behavior is not matching those words. All of these little leaks, all of these anonymous sources talking about this, that, or the other thing. It didn't just happen in a vacuum, right? Why didn't it happen previously to them coming public about their divorce? You see, everything was highly guarded in Bill Gates' fiefdom. Bill Gates was running around like he was Tywin Lannister over at Microsoft, folks. Trying to hook up with girls in the office, asking girls out on dates, just being a general all-around scumbag. You know, typical of these guys. One of the first things you learn as a mid-level manager or a supervisor is you don't date your employees. You don't hit on the girls that are working for you, or if you're a woman, hit on the guys. Don't dip your pen in company ink. Always a good strategy to uphold. But guys like Bill Gates, guys like Leon Black, guys like Jess Staley, and certainly guys like Jeffrey Epstein, it's not about being attracted, really, right? It's about the power play. I can do this, so I'm going to do this. They're attracted to the power of it all. That's part of their whole entire, sick way of thinking. They want to exert power over these young ladies. They do it all day in their lives, right? Absolutely burying people in the boardroom or buying up companies that people worked hard to create just so they could vulture them. And that's how they conduct themselves in their regular lives as well. With no remorse, with no care, and no regard for anybody else, be it their wives or their children or society as a whole. And this whole entire Bill Gates story is just another example of that. This dude didn't cherish anything, certainly not his wife or the vows that they made to each other. Not his children, he's hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein. And certainly not his word because, well, he's been lying to everybody. So if you don't engage in those basic things, can you really call yourself a man? In my opinion, you can't. Just another pencil-pushing, dorky-ass, academic who could never get girls when he was growing up. So once he got a few bucks and some power, well, he figured he's going to change that. He's going to make up for time lost. And a good way to do that, well, hang out with your good buddy Jeffrey Epstein, right? All right, folks, we're going to read another article today from the Daily Beast, and we're going to stay on this story, and we're going to follow right along here with Kate Bricklet and Lachlan Cartwright as they continue to put this guy on blast and unearth the things that he didn't want talked about. You see, Bill Gates was always a good friend of Jeffrey Epstein's. Was always somebody that was around, in his own words, late at night. And the story that he tried to pitch, the narrative that he tried to serve up, that he was not friends with Epstein, that it was all about business, that story is crumbling around him as we speak. And we're going to keep up the pressure. This disgusting ass dude, Bill Gates, is just another one of these enablers, another one of these fellow travelers who needs to answer some questions. All right, so let's jump into this article from the Daily Beast. Authored by Kate Bricklet and Lachlan Cartwright. The headline: Bill Gates thought Jeffrey Epstein was his ticket to the Nobel Prize, ex-staffer says. I mean, think about these guys, right? This is the kind of thought process that they have. My want of the Nobel Peace Prize outweighs the fact that Jeffrey Epstein's an absolute scumbag who abused children. That's basically their outlook on life. But you can move in and out, interchange what their goals are, right? For Epstein, it's the Nobel Peace Prize. For somebody else, it might be something else. But the whole entire movement and the whole entire way that they conduct themselves is all the same. It might be a different person, but they all feel the same way about consolidation of power, about the common man, right? It's all about moving among those elite halls with the so-called other elites. And the rest of us are just scum. And if hanging out with somebody like Jeffrey Epstein, being such a dirtbag, will help someone like Bill Gates get a Nobel Peace Prize, then he's all in. He doesn't care that he has daughters. He doesn't care that his wife told him it's a bad idea. He doesn't care about the optics. He has people to fix that. What he cares about are his own wants, his own desires, and nothing else matters. Imagine living your life like that, just chasing down your carnal desires at all costs. What sort of life or society would we have? You have to have some checks and balances on yourself, right? But the problem is, when you have this kind of wealth, you don't get off on the normal things that we get off on, right? Going out to the casino, blow $200 gambling, get that rush. Walk into the sports book, put $500 down on a game, get that rush. Go bungee jumping, get that rush. Oh man, I've had this vacation plan for 3 years. I saved, I scrimped. I'm going to Bali. Get that rush. But when you're Bill Gates, how do you get that rush? Not going to Bali. Not buying something new. Not betting $200 in the slot machine or throwing a $500 bet in the sports book. You get off on consolidating your power. You get off on controlling other human beings. And I know that's harsh, but that is what these people do. They don't get off the way we do, folks. Regular sex isn't good enough for them. They need to have 15 young girls. And all of these people were able to keep all of this stuff on the hush for so long because they wield such tremendous power, not only in their own boardrooms, but with their pals in the legacy media, What do you think that this just happens and the legacy media has no idea about it? Or do the scoundrels in the legacy media know and just refuse to report on it? That's the question you should really be asking yourself every time you whip out that credit card to up your subscription at the Times, or the New York Post, or Fox News, or wherever it is that you get your news from. Always ask yourself that question, followed by, well, what are they leaving out? Because remember, folks, lies of omission are still lies. Bill Gates enjoyed holding court at Jeffrey Epstein's Manhattan mansion, allegedly seeking refuge from his marriage, and talking with the sex offender's circle of high-profile dinner guests about philanthropy and other worldly topics. I mean, what would these assholes be sitting around talking about as far as worldly topics? How many more bombs they could drop on Yemen? How they can inflame what's going on in the Middle East between the Israelis and the Palestinians a little bit more? How to maybe destabilize the region a bit more in Syria? That's the kind of shit these people talk about. They look at the world like it's a game of chess, right? And if you think that these people aren't walking amongst the people who are making the decisions to drop 50 million tons of bombs on a daily basis, you are wrong. You think Bill Gates cares about people because he's out there making vaccines and faking the funk? These dudes don't give a shit about nothing but their little circle of fellow travelers and how that group can further consolidate their power. That's the end goal. More power, more wealth, and more control. But the Microsoft mogul may have been angling for another perk by networking with Epstein. Gates hoped the well-connected pervert could help him secure the Nobel Peace Prize, one former Gates Foundation employee told the Daily Beast. And you see what happens here, right? Trickle, 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 splash. All of these ex-employees, board members, they're all coming out of the woodwork now. And the more people that Gates has wronged throughout this time period, and I'm sure there's a slew of them, those people are going to come out as well. Oh, the dog pile is on, folks. Anything that Bill Gates has hidden that people might know is going to come to the forefront throughout this divorce. Mark my words. Bill Gates is on a very, very slippery slope right now. And as much as they want to tell you, oh, well, we're having this divorce and, you know, we came to this conclusion together, you can see by the stuff that's coming out, that is not the case. This person said members of the foundation's communication team were alerted to Gates' relationship with Epstein and were told it was a maneuver to try and get himself a Nobel Peace Prize. So, hanging out with a sex offender, a child sex offender, somebody that is known to be involved with trafficking girls, hurting girls, assaulting girls, abusing girls. This is the guy that you're going to hitch your cart to try and get the Nobel Peace Prize, huh? I mean, it wouldn't shock me. Now, don't get it twisted. You all know how I feel about the United Nations. You all know how I feel about those international bodies. Anybody putting Iran on the board of human rights? Probably not the greatest place in the world to refer to when you want some justice, right? And the same goes for the Nobel Peace Prize. Garbage. It's all garbage. It's all politics. We know that. But the fact that Epstein was considered some kind of kingmaker in the world of Nobel Peace Prizes tells you everything you need to know about it. Miss me with all of that shit. All of it. The platitudes, the shows when these guys come on, all of these award shows, these famous people, you know, licking each other's feet and pumping each other's tires. Miss me with all of it. I don't watch none of it. I don't care about so-called culture. It's not for me. It is not for me, and it can miss me, and I don't care what people think or say. I'm not getting involved in any of that BS ever. Ever, 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 ever. I don't care about it. You know, I don't hero worship. I don't look at any of these politicians as they're good people. I look at everybody that I meet as a gray character, folks. Because every one of us, humans, is capable of great good. Just look at what some people have done with the time given to them. But unfortunately, as humans, we are also capable of great evil. And that goes for everybody. You put a sword in a man's hand, and that man becomes a monster. They said the tech mogul had even kept some employees on call on prize day in years past, just in case he was awarded the distinction. Imagine being filled with so much hubris. You got people on standby the day the award's given out because you think you might win. Bitch, go write a code. Can you make sure that Microsoft works correctly when it updates, please? You epic dunce. Fix your pocket protector and beat it. We were aware of the things that were potential reputational risks for the foundation and the co-chairs, Bill and Melinda, said the former employee. Even back then, people knew this guy wasn't squeaky clean, the person said, referring to Epstein. Oh yeah, in other news, the sky is blue and water is wet. Of course everybody knew the guy wasn't squeaky clean. And for these clownfish to act like they didn't know, it's the ultimate slap in the face to anybody who's followed this story. He, Gates, thought that Jeffrey would be able to help him, and he would know the right people or some kind of way to massage things, so he could get the Nobel Peace Prize, which is what Bill wants more than anything else in the world, the staffer said. I mean, makes sense, right? All of this stuff coming out, then you look at his role within vaccinations, and I don't just mean COVID, I'm talking about in general, you know, the way the Gates Foundation is active all over the world. And it everything falls into place, right? The things that we once suspected are starting to fall into place. And the groundwork has been laying for how long now? Months, years? We all knew this day was coming when Gates would have his time. I just didn't think he would be put on blast by his wife or those this close to him. You know that the battle lines are drawn in the world of the Gates right now as all of this stuff comes out. I think he was ultimately disappointed it didn't work out, the person added. Epstein was known for cultivating a Rolodex of elite contacts from around the globe. Billionaires, royals, celebrities, politicians, and prominent scientists, including Nobel laureates Frank Wilczek, Gerald Edelman, and Murray Gell-Mann. The money manager also opened various nonprofits, money manager, pedophile, over the years to steer millions to his friends' projects and to fund research at institutions including the Massachusetts Institute of Technology and Harvard University. Researchers continued taking Epstein's money despite widespread reports of his abuse of underage girls and young women. Now, I'm not going to dive off course here and go in hard on academia again, because we do that quite a bit here, but it is a joke, it's disgusting, and they should all be ashamed of themselves. The university presidents, the regents, the board members, everybody who was around while Epstein was serving up bags to their friends, well, they should all be held responsible as well. But you see, there's no buck stops here type of situation anymore, right? There's no boss who gets in trouble anywhere. Oh, sure, a few lowly employees might get nailed, but that's the end of it. Just take a look at the jail where Epstein died. The only two people up on charges are the two guards, huh? Not their boss, not their supervisor, not the station chief, none of that shit. Just the two lowly guards. And they love doing that, don't they? They love to serve you up a scapegoat. The former staffers claim that Gates thought Epstein was his ticket to the prestigious prize adds fuel to a Norwegian newspaper's report last year that highlighted a 2013 meeting with Gates, Epstein, and the Norwegian Nobel Committee's chairman at the time, Thorbjørn Jagland, and we were all over this story. DN reported it, and we blasted on it, dug deep. And it's obvious, right? We know that this is not just happening in the United States, not just happening in England. This is worldwide, intercontinental, and Epstein and his people had their tentacles all over the earth, dug in deep, spread everywhere. And that's not hyperbole, right? That's, at this point, there's no need to sell this story with salaciousness, in my opinion, or wild ideas or wild connections, like some other people like to do. The facts of the matter, the facts that are right here before your face, boy, that's enough. A spokesperson for Bill Gates, however, denied the billionaire philanthropist was seeking Epstein's help in obtaining the award. While a Nobel Prize would certainly be a great honor, it is false to state that Bill Gates was obsessed with the honor, set it as a goal, or campaigned for it in any way, the spokesperson told the Daily Beast. If Epstein had a plan or motivation to insert himself into any process related to any awards or honors on behalf of Gates, neither Gates nor anyone he works with was aware of his intentions, and they would have rejected any offers for assistance. Oh, I'm sure they would have rejected any offers from their good friend Jeffrey Epstein for assistance. Then what were you doing there with him in the first place? Oh, I know, you guys were watching the home equity network or whatever. You guys, QVC, you guys are out there buying some chains and some necklaces or something. Nobody's buying that shit. Why are you at Epstein's house all night, you lying piece of garbage? Since his divorce announcement this month, Gates has faced a torrent of scrutiny over his ties to Epstein, whom he met dozens of times after Epstein went to jail for soliciting a minor and had to register as a sex offender. Over the weekend, the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal published reports on Gates' alleged history of hitting on employees and his extramarital affair with a Microsoft engineer. Now, this is the kind of shit you expect from people like him, right? Fellow travelers. Everybody who's a fellow traveler of Epstein, who spent any amount of time with Epstein behind the scenes, has to be put into the category of questionable human, in my opinion. And Bill Gates is and was no different. To think that Bill Gates was this upstanding citizen who wasn't out there, cheating on his wife, stepping out on his wife, is just laughable at best. What? The little goofy-ass bob haircut, the glasses, and the pocket protector had you thinking different? The joke's on us, folks. The persona that these people project is not who they are. And if you're familiar with the Robert McCammon book, Swan Song, then you know that in a part of that book, after all is said and done, people have this thing called Job's mask, where they get this like cocoon over their head. And then when it breaks, what happens is it reveals the real you, your real face. And the evil people are revealed as evil. And the good people, well, they're good. And we're seeing that now here, basically on Earth. All of these people who are running around with this persona of being such great people are being unmasked as absolute disgusting deviants. It was not a secret within the foundation that he had dalliances, the former foundation employee told the Daily Beast. Of Melinda's attitude toward the infidelity, the employee added, "I don't think it was a wink-wink permissive thing at all. I think she was humiliated and did not like it." Now look, you folks know how I feel about people's personal lives, right? If Bill and Melinda Gates wanted to live a life where they saw other people but stayed married, it's no one's business. No one's business whatsoever what occurs in people's bedrooms in their relationship, as long as all parties are of age and are consenting. So that's not my problem with Bill Gates. I don't care if he was in a throuple, right? I don't care what your relationship status is. The problem is when you run around and you act like you're this fantastic guy who would never cheat on his wife and I need the Nobel Peace Prize. And then when you get unmasked as an absolute dickwad, well, it doubles it, right?
Listen to Love and Grit, the podcast about remarkable people in the city of brotherly love.
Love and Grit describes Philly.
Philadelphia is gritty on the outside and like love on the inside.
Philadelphia is the greatest city in America.
The people in Philadelphia are beautiful.
Philly's a definite stop for any musician that's on tour.
He's got everything in it.
We have more public art than any other city in the world.
Yes.
We have so many things to celebrate.
There's a passion, there's an energy that it's really difficult to duplicate anywhere else I go.
People are very strong in Philadelphia.
We are not afraid to take risks.
We're a passionate people, but there's a certain grit and determination that comes from within, from being here.
Like, I'll just drive to Philadelphia and sit on like my grandmother's block. I don't know if I'm chasing ghosts or I'd spent my entire life trying to leave, quote, and making it. I kind of miss Philadelphia now.
On Love and Grit from Visit Philly. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
According to People, Bill and Melinda Gates will continue as co-chairs of their foundation, even as they divide their $130 billion in marital assets, because of their shared ambition for the Nobel Prize. One source told the magazine they were really interested in trying to win a Nobel Prize. So one thing that was part of this is, if it gets worse, then it ends that. It seems as if that was on the agenda, and that's for both of them. I mean, I just don't get the mindset, folks. I don't get the mindset. There's nothing on this planet professionally that I want enough to be humiliated or to let my chick go out and, you know, dick down other dudes, hang out with other dudes, date other dudes. I just don't understand the thought pattern here. The Nobel Peace Prize is so important to you that you would let your husband treat you like shit? I don't know. I'm glad I was raised the way I was with the parents I was raised with, because you got to have some honor and some self-worth. And you got to understand that there's sometimes things are not as important as they seem. And something like the Nobel Peace Prize, sure, it'll be great to throw on the mantle, right? But to sacrifice everything you are, basically your humanity, to get it? Sorry, that's a price not worth paying, in my opinion. Bill Gates may have had the prize on his mind in March 2013, when he and Epstein reportedly visited Jaglin's home in Strasbourg, France. The rendezvous was revealed by DN, the name of this newspaper is Dagens Næringsliv. I cannot pronounce that. Absolutely. Lucky I can speak English, folks. So it's the outlet DN, and we reported on this story when it first broke. Norway's largest business newspaper in an October 2020 report. At the time of the meeting, Jaglin was chair of the committee which awards the Peace Prize, and Gates was a potential candidate for the honor. So I'm sure they just went there and, you know, nobody offered up any dough or special favors or anything like that. They were just there to have some cocktails and discuss the weather. The meeting also included members of the International Peace Institute, a think tank run by former Norwegian diplomat Terje Rod-Larsen, that Epstein secret charity lavished with a $375,000 donation in 2017. So again, Mr. Long Pockets Jeffrey Epstein out here spreading the dough around to buy a little bit of favor, to hopefully buy his boy Billy Gates a Nobel Peace Prize. That's certainly what this looks like, right? What else could it be? So you got Congress freaking out because baseball players are stabbing themselves in the ass shooting up steroids, but you're not worried about somebody trying to buy the Nobel Peace Prize, huh? We don't got no meetings, no congressional hearings, none of that shit, right? Of course not, because it's one of their faves, just like Nancy Pelosi's daughter said. Never forget it, okay? Never forget what she said about the Epstein case, about some of their faves getting caught up in it. Whatever that means, faves. If you have favorite politicians, walk yourself to the bathroom right now, look in the mirror, put your hands on either side of your head, and give it a good shake. None of them care about you. Rod-Larsen resigned from the New York-based IPI last October after it was revealed his group received $650,000 in donations from Epstein, who also provided him with a $130,000 personal loan. Personal loan, huh? What is Epstein? A loan shark? That's what that means, right? A personal loan. So if I go get a personal loan from somebody whose name ends in a vowel, who happens to live in a, say, Italian neighborhood, is that just a personal loan? Or does he have money on the street now? Of course, the FBI, which stands for Forever Bothering Italians Anyway, would say that that guy's a loan shark, but not Jeffrey Epstein. That's just a personal loan. You can't go to the bank to get that $130,000, my friend? According to DN, Jaglin said Gates and Epstein arrived at the Strasbourg meeting together, and Epstein introduced Gates to IPI for a polio eradication project. Rod Larson didn't attend the meeting, but is a longtime friend of Jaglin. Rod Larson also had long-standing ties to Epstein, who issued press releases touting his support of IPI, while he worked to rehabilitate his image following his 2008 conviction in Palm Beach, Florida. The Daily Beast reported Sunday Gates allegedly encouraged Epstein to revamp his reputation in the media. Of course he did. Why wouldn't he want to try and help his boy out, right? And Rod Larson and the IPI and all of these other groups that took meetings with him after his arrest? Well, the joke's on you guys. You're the ones who look like scumbags now, and you're the ones being outed left and right. So have fun dealing with the fallout, boys. In an email to DN, Jaglin claimed Gates asked to meet him while he was in France, and that their discussion centered not on the Nobel, but around Human Rights Organization Council of Europe's work on counterfeit vaccines. Asked if he thought it was a conflict to socialize with a possible Nobel laureate, Jaglin told the newspaper, Bill Gates was not nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize in 2013. I mean, really? First of all, since when did Bill Gates become the patron saint of vaccines? Stay in your lane, bro. Go and work on a computer program that is going to make sure that my information isn't stolen when I log onto a website. The whole Bill Gates and Melinda Gates involved in the whole vaccine situation is creepy at best. Again, this is what I'm talking about with these billionaires. They have nothing better to do, so let's meddle in everybody else's life. Not long after the Strasbourg gathering, the Gates Foundation granted IPI millions of dollars. Records on the foundation's website show IPI received a $2.5 million grant in October 2013, $5.5 million in March 2014, and $256,968 in June 2019 and July 2020. That was for nothing, though. Epstein was just a very generous man and wanted to spread the wealth around a little bit to the IPI. Had nothing to do with the fact that the IPI could help his boy Bill Gates get a Nobel Peace Prize, maybe, right? Nah, that couldn't be it. And in September 2013, Bill and Melinda Gates spoke at IPI's 8th annual Minstrel Working Dinner on the Middle East. A write-up of the event indicates the couple were special guests who discussed the ongoing efforts of their foundation to eradicate polio and cited the connection between health and security. Again, where did Bill Gates get his doctorate? I didn't know that he was some sort of vaccine expert all of a sudden. Guess what? If I have some ransomware on my computer, I'm going to Bill Gates. If I'm sick, certainly not going to Bill Gates. When asked about Gates' meeting with the Nobel Committee chairman, a spokesperson for the billionaire directed the Daily Beast to a 2019 statement, which says, multiple high-profile people suggested that Bill Gates meet with Epstein because he made claims of being able to bring billions of dollars into philanthropy, based on his status as an agent and advisor to wealthy individuals with respect to their given strategies. Such bullshit. Epstein was none of that, okay? None of that. And every single person who tries to pitch that shit is a liar, okay? Straight up. I'm calling you a liar right now if that's a narrative you're trying to pitch. Bill Gates, you're a liar. Melinda Gates, you're a liar. Anyone speaking up for Bill Gates, I'm calling a liar at this point. Polio research. Stay in your lane, dude. All right? Stay in your lane. These so-called masters of the universe from Silicon Valley, they all need to sit down, shut up, and relax for 5 minutes. Given the prospect of helping catalyze significant increases in charitable giving, Gates met with Epstein and others multiple times to discuss philanthropy and the work of his foundation. Although Epstein pursued Gates aggressively, Gates had absolutely no business partnership or personal friendship with Epstein. Gates never socialized with Epstein or attended parties with him. No, I was never at his house or anything late at night. Was never hanging out into the wee hours of the morning with Eva Dubin. Nah, that never happened. It became clear that Epstein misrepresented the nature of his workings with Gates while also working to insert himself behind the scenes without Gates' knowledge. Bill Gates regrets ever meeting with Epstein and recognizes it was an error in judgment to do so. Oh yeah, an error in judgment. That's what he's going to say now, right? Now that he's been outed, everybody knows what's up. It was just an error in judgment. Meanwhile, that whole canned statement's a lie, right? The whole thing. Just like every other dirtbag involved with Epstein. Lies, lies, and more lies. The Strasbourg meeting may not have been Gates' only visit abroad with Epstein. In August 2019, the French news outlet, France Info, reported on a roster of famous visitors to Epstein's Parisian apartment, which included Bill and Melinda on at least one occasion, according to the pedophile's former butler. A spokesperson for Melinda Gates told the Daily Beast that Melinda has never been to Epstein's Paris home. Again, conflicting stories all the time with these people. I don't trust Melinda Gates either. I'm not going to set her up as she's like, some shrinking violet here. I highly doubt that they didn't go to Epstein's place in Paris, all right? I believe the butler. How about that? It's all about he said, she said at this point. So I believe the butler. Gates has shown he's been a liar for all this time, folks, so why should we believe him? In spring of 2013, Epstein and his friend Lawrence Krauss appeared to be touting Gates' appearance at a future panel at Arizona State University in 2014. Krauss, a theoretical physicist who led ASU's Origins project and left the university amid sexual misconduct allegations, name-dropped Gates in an email to prospective panelists for the event, which was later canceled. Epstein had donated $250,000 to the Origins project, while his buddy billionaire hedge funder Leon Black donated $2 million, according to BuzzFeed. Now, we've went hard on Krauss before as well, right? Another one of these dirtbag academics who thinks that their shit don't stink, who thinks that, they're hanging out with Epstein was just no big deal. That's how they frame it, right? Oh, it was no big deal. We had no idea. We were just getting some money. No, bitch, we know. You had an idea. You didn't care. In an email obtained by the Daily Mail, Krauss indicated Epstein was organizing a panel on the origins of money, and that right now he has Bill Gates, Richard Branson, and Larry Summers on board. Through a spokesperson, Branson denied having anything to do with the event, while Summers apparently didn't comment for the article. Reached by the Daily Beast, Krauss would only say that the panel never happened. Since I don't know Gates or these people, I can't comment, he said. Oh, I'm sure, Mr. Krauss, I'm sure you can't comment. But Richard Branson's another scumbag who doesn't get brought up enough in this. Him and Epstein were close. They were homies. And anybody running around touting that Richard Branson's a fantastic guy like some people do, well, you have to question their integrity as well. Because none of these people are great guys, folks. They're all gray characters. Bill Gates, Melinda Gates, the whole lot of them. And one thing that is certainly about to come to light and certainly about to be shown for the whole entire public to take a nice long gander is that the image that old Billy Boy built is about to come crumbling down around his pocket protector. If you'd like to contact me, you can do that at bobbycapucci@protonmail.com. That's BOBBYCAPUCCI at protonmail.com. You can also find me on Twitter at BOBBY_CAPUCCI. All of the links that go with this episode can be found in the description box. All right, folks, you know the deal. I'll be back later on tonight if there's some news that I think we need to hit tonight. But if not, I will be back tomorrow morning and we will pick up where we left off. Have a great day, everyone.
Dry eyes? It might be me. Inflammation. Those over-the-counter eye drops typically lubricate your eyes and may provide temporary relief and probably won't touch me.
Ask your doctor about Xydra, a prescription eye drop used to treat the signs and symptoms of dry eye disease. It works differently by targeting a source of inflammation that can cause dry eye disease. It can provide lasting symptom relief.
Xydra? No!
Don't use if you're allergic to Xydra. Common side effects include eye irritation, discomfort, or blurred vision when applied to the eye, and unusual taste sensation. Don't touch container tip to your eye or any surface. After using Xydra, wait 15 minutes before reinserting contacts. See our ad in Travel and Leisure magazine. Call 1-877-4-XYDRA or visit Xydra.com.
At Ease, we're all about calculating the best high for you. Ran out of shows to watch for the second time this week? Order an indica pre-roll. Social distance park hang, pair that awkward picnic with a vaporizer. See, we're like your weed guy, but 420% nerdier. So just worry about when you're going to take that edible and let us do the rest. Ease, highly calculated cannabis delivery. Get 30% off your first order with promo code NERD at ease.com. That's EAZE.com.